Hi, welcome to Low Vision Living 2070. I'm Kathy, and I do have low vision. We recently went on a little trip during spring break. We went to Gulf Shores. Don't know if you can read that or not. And we did have a very good time. We went there last year. We had a lot better weather last year than we had this year. We only were able to spend an hour or so on the beach. And not that we're really big beach goers, but we'd hoped to spend some time there. But it was very, very windy. They had red flag warnings out for 3 of the 4 days that we were there. And so it just really wasn't very pleasant to be on the beach. So we did some other sightseeing, things that we wanted to go back and do this year since I had my distance glasses, and that was really cool. Down there is a fort called Fort Morgan, and it is very, very windy out there also, but we wanted to go out and see the ships that come into Mobile Bay. And we went last year and, I could see them, but I had to have binoculars. So this year I had on my distance glasses and I was able to see the ships and the oil rigs and all that kind of thing out there without having to have binoculars on. It was amazing to be able to do that, to just look out like a normal person and be able to see things that weren't too far away. There are a lot of steps out there, and we came up with a strategy to help me get up and down the steps a little easier without having to change glasses out multiple times to get from one level to another. So what we did was we figured out that my husband would go in front of me, whether we were going upstairs or downstairs. And that way it was a little bit easier for me. I could just kind of follow his feet and, see how many more steps I had or anything like that. A lot of them were easy to get up and down. There were some that were kind of difficult because the steps were made out of wood. And so they would have like 2 2x6s or something like that to make the step. And I could see the seam between the 2 boards, but then when I go to step down on the next step, it was a little bit hard to distinguish where the step that I was on ended and the next step down began. So I did have to be a little bit more careful on those. But, just one of those things. It's a learning curve. And, but it was just, I can't even tell you what it was like to be able to see things that people with normal vision can see. And again, my vision is 20/70 to 20/80, 20/70 on a good day, 20/80 on a day that my allergies and stuff are bothering me. And low vision is considered to be 20/60 to 21/80. So I'm on the better end of the low vision spectrum, but still it's a lot different than someone who can see very well. And also going down there to see some of the landscape changes and that kind of thing was really cool. I figured out I can see about 3 miles or so now, where before I could see with depth about a quarter to a half a mile. And then after that, it was just kind of like looking at a picture on a wall. And now I have depth perception when I'm looking out up to about 3 miles. And so that's really cool for me to realize that that is, my brain is working and learning new pathways and that kind of thing to be able to let me see in depth. The other fun thing that we did, we went to, of course, you go to lots of different restaurants and that kind of thing. The one seafood restaurant that we went to, we walked in and I didn't even know if I would be able to read the menu at all, even with my reading glasses, because it was just so dark. But once we got inside and my vision adapted to how dark it was in there, I did put on my reading glasses. And so the waiter came over and he started to take our drink order and that kind of stuff. And he just looked at me and he's like, "Those are some really interesting glasses you have on." And I said, "Well, I have low vision and they have very high magnification in them. And so I can read a menu and that kind of thing, or a book or whatever, and not have to hold it real close to my face. And as I said, it was dark in there. And he said, well, are those just stuck to the glasses? And I said, no, they actually go all the way through. So it's just really, and he said, that's really cool that you can do that. And I said, yes, it is. And I said, thank you. And so, that was nice. I really didn't have anybody else say anything to me when I was wearing the glasses. We did go tour a couple of Civil War homes, and the first one that we went to, we were the only one in the group that went through the tour. The second one we went to, there was probably 20 or 25 people on the tour with us. And we did have to go up and down stairs in that house also. And the really cool thing was that no matter where I was standing in the room, in reference to the person who was doing the tour for us and explaining history and that kind of thing, when I had my distance glasses on, I could see him. It didn't matter if I was at the back of the room or the front of the room. And I could see the details of the woodwork and that kind of thing. There was some chandeliers that were hanging in the halls and that kind of stuff. There was wallpaper, and then there were, dishes and that kind of thing on display. And I could see all of that clearly, no matter where I stood in the room. And so that was just amazing. Some of the people, when we first started, we gathered outside and they kind of looked at me because I had on these funky glasses, but then they saw the low vision button that I wear. And so they kind of smiled at me then. And so I just smiled back. So I think that they were understanding that, yeah, I had on the strange glasses so that I could see as well as they do. And so I'm hoping that just by somebody seeing that, if they know someone who has low vision or who's struggling, they can say, hey, you know what? When I was on vacation, I saw this lady that had on these really strange glasses. So maybe that's something you could look into, even though they don't know what they are, just look them up online. Or look up low vision online. So it was really a good trip overall. And it would have been nicer had we been able to spend more time outside without all the wind, but still, it's always good to get away from home and what you see every day and that kind of thing. So it was an eye-opening experience again, and I still am on a learning curve with these, even though I've had them like 3 months or so. So I'm still learning, when to wear them, when not to wear them. We went to the USS Alabama, and I didn't know how the tour was set up. I didn't know if we just went in a building and they had different areas, that you walk through and that kind of thing. And no, actually, you go in the ship and you go up and down on the different levels and that kind of thing. And so I just took the glasses off and left them in the car. There was no need for me to lug them around with me or anything like that. It wasn't going to make any difference pretty much on what I could see. The only time it would have made any difference is when we were up at the top on the top side of the ship and could see, look out and that kind of thing. That would have been kind of nice to have a little bit better vision when I was looking out for my distance. But overall, it was a good trip. It was interesting. We learned some stuff, which is always nice to do when you're on vacation too. So, but just a quick update for you. I guess it probably wasn't all that quick. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and we will talk again soon. Have a great day.